One of the fundamental problems with professionalism, with modern society's practice of professionalism and reserved behavior in everything that it thinks, does, achieves, performs, becomes, is that ultimately it ends up losing all of its soul's qualities, heartlessness in the process. And that means the modern society may not necessarily have a heart because it's always professional, because it's always mechanical in one way or another. And the more professional we become in exchange or in return for success, approval, validation, money, riches in our lives from institutions, educations, organizations, universities, the more inevitably we are also going to have to sacrifice and compromise and part ways with our originality, authentic qualities, distinctions, virtues, purposes, etc. And we're more going to feel isolated, rejected, betrayed than ever before, not just because of what we have signed for, not just because of external oppression and bureaucratic repression at the hands of all that we earn, but also because of our own betrayal towards ourselves. So we just cannot afford to betray ourselves by not focusing on the present, by not living in the present with absolute quality, virtue, value, purpose, significance, authenticity, character, consistency, composure, clarity, etc. By obviously also not loving the people either. And that means we sometimes destroy everything by signing up for professional behavior, because the more professionalism we adopt and develop in our lives, the more and more isolated, divorced, detached, empty we're going to feel and experience and find ourselves to have become, because professionalism is an external invention and a societal construct for turning people into machines and exploitable objects and manipulable entities all the time. And that's how all the modern people have now become machinery, often towards the government, organizations, institutions, bureaucracies, education, college, workplaces, etc. And no one seems to have any more distinctions, differences left about themselves, because they have sacrificed all that, or their differences have been systematically silenced and stripped away from them uh, in false promises of pleasure, validation, success, riches, growth, purposes in their lives. But ultimately, what they got and what we have got also is repression, to the point that the freedom of speech and expression are already non existent and dead. If we cannot engage in critical thinking, then we certainly cannot express our critical thoughts either. Critical thinking is absolutely impermissible and restricted, prohibited, or banned in the modern society everywhere around the world. And it's not just about this country. Critical thinking is unacceptable for the structures, for the